pretend to try and justify his actions for a comedic bit. I'll wait a little bit longer before I accidentally get myself cancelled. Thank you very much. Alright boys, it's time. Before this video starts, I want to give one disclaimer. If you don't know what chipping is, please click off this video right now and just save yourself. Go watch another one of my videos that is more normal. Here, I'll even add a direct link to my previous video for you to watch. You're still here? I guess that means you just want to see this. Oh well, I'm your flight instructor, not your dad. Enjoy, I guess. And lastly, I am not a shipper at all, and will likely not have heard of most of these ships before. Everything in this video will be my own opinion, but since this is my channel, that means it's 100% factual. If you disagree, leave a comment. So about 3 weeks ago, I did a poll on my community tab asking about your ships. Most popular, favorite, crack ships, everything. And I shouldn't be as surprised as I was that there were over 100 responses to the poll in total, with at least 200 ships being mentioned. So today, let's go over some of the statistics about the results of that post, and take a look at some of your ships, and then roast them. I decided to exclude ships that we get confirmed as canon in the show, stuff like Cheese Sandwich and Pinkie, Lyra and Bonbon, Big Mac and Sugarbell, etc. Because of that, it's no surprise that the two ships that were mentioned more than 10 times are the fan favorites, including at least one of the main 6. Those being Fluttercord, aka Discord and Fluttershy, being mentioned 15 times, and Applejack and Rainbow Dash being mentioned 11 times. In shared third place we have Rarity and Applejack, and Sci-Twi and Sunset with 9 mentions each, followed by Starlight and Trixie, and Starlight and Sunburst with 7 each. All of this kind of makes sense, you know, they're popular characters who have a lot of screen time together, or even have full episodes dedicated to their friendship and interactions. The same goes for ships like Twilight and Sentry, mentioned 6 times, and other ships including 2 of the main 6. The most popular of which, besides the previous mentioned ones, is Pie, Twilight and Pinkie Pie, with 5 mentions. Additionally, there were 9 total mentions of self-ships, meaning someone said X characters shipped with themselves. I've seen these for Celestia, Shining Armor, Limestone Pie, Autumn Blaze, Rainbow Dash, Thorax, Luna, and twice about Twilight. Degenerates. Now that I've satisfied all the number nerds, let's move on to the main attraction of today's video. These 6 popular ships have a total of 69 mentions in total. However, that still leaves over 130 different responses to potentially make fun of. Starting off with a response that really caught me off guard. Zephyr Breeze and Limestone Pie. When I first saw the ship in the comments, I was already like, what on earth is this? And then I saw it again and again and again and again. It got mentioned a total of 5 times, and I genuinely can't understand why. Zephyr is such a complete idiot with barely any redeemable features as far as romantic interest would go. The only reason I could think of why people would ship these two together is because Limestone is such an assertive character that she would absolutely take control of the relationship and leave no breathing room for Zephyr. On second thought, maybe the ship isn't that bad an idea, anything to inconvenience one of the most annoying characters in the show. Another ship that was mentioned multiple times that I can get behind is Soren and Braeburn. And I'm only half saying that because they're both Stallions, shut it. But yes, we've all seen that one Tamers video with the 2 of them. It's prime shipping material, even though they've never actually interacted in this show. I can absolutely get behind it. The same goes for another popular ship that just kept on being mentioned, Stormblazer, aka Zip and Hitch from G5. I originally never really noticed how much subtle interactions they have in the show, but when I rewatched Make Your Mark and Tell Your Tale at some point, it was so in your face, I don't know how I missed it the first time. They have such good chemistry in the episodes. The extremely smart, know-it-all detective and the conventionally attractive sheriff. It honestly sounds like the plot out of an old Disney movie or something. Now, this part of the video has been surprisingly positive so far. I sure do hope that there aren't any ships to ruin that. Are we going there? I guess we're going there. Spike and Rarity were in the comments enough that had they been suggested just a couple times more, they would have actually made it into the most frequent mentions I did at the beginning. Not that I would have included them, because just no. Just no. I don't care whether you say he's aged up or justify it by saying he's an adult at the end of the show. This is a ship between a child and a grown-ass pony. Can we bring back the Twitter Joe from the villains video, please? I have a feeling this won't be the last time we'll see any of these ships today. As a matter of fact, let's just get them out of the way right now. In the comments, I saw a Thorax x Spike, there was an Applejack x Spike, Terramar and Scootaloo, and Sweetie Ball and Spike. And I know the last two of those are technically all kids, but considering Terramar is still quite a lot older than Scootaloo, and Sweetie Ball and Spike is literally just, we can't have Rarity x Spike, so this is the next best thing. You know what? From this moment on, I am just not going to include any ships with kids of any kind. Fuck that. Just moving on with the list, some people mentioned shipping Applejack and Autumn Blaze. And honestly, I don't really see it. I get why people ship them, their whole interaction in the Kieran episode is very cute, and Autumn Blaze's song is extremely catchy. But as far as personality goes, I just don't see it. Autumn Blaze is this overexcited Kieran who wants to organize and participate in a bunch of activities within the Kieran village, like we see in the episode. Meanwhile, Applejack is all about work and productivity. I suppose you could approach this from an opposites attract standpoint, but I also don't think AJ would enjoy being with someone that goofy. Instead, I would pair Autumn Blaze with someone like Pinkie Pie. They'd probably throw the coolest parties together. An Applejack ship that I can get behind, though, is her with Countess Coloratura, which I saw twice in all of the responses. If they met as adults, I doubt AJ would hit it off well with a pop star of all people. But since they were already childhood friends and have gotten to know each other, I think it could work out. Plus, just imagine the headlines from all those useless celebrity gossip magazines. Famous pop star called dating an earth pony farmer. Fans are shocked. And then see the news that Coloratura got cancelled or some shit. That alone would be hilarious. The same childhood friends trope would also apply to a ship like Hitch and Sunny, which I also saw mentioned in the comments. I could absolutely see the two of them hitting it off in a romantic way. We even get hints to that in the beginning of the movie.
Down low, hitch it to a post, flip it sunny side up and on a piece of toast. Okay?
Another interesting one I saw mentioned twice is Marble Pie and Featherbangs. Now, I could understand pairing Featherbangs with Limestone to make his life a living hell, just like we did with Zephyr in the beginning. But why Marble? Do you think she could endure Featherbang's existence and actually like him? Because I could personally not see that happening at all. As sweet as Marble might be, I think she would be looking for someone similar to her. Quiet and reserved, like Big Mac for example. Now, I'm not saying I ship Big Mac and Marble Pie, just that their personalities are very, very similar, and I could imagine them working out pretty well in theory, unlike Marble and Featherbangs. On the topic of Featherbangs, I got this comment from Flynn saying Featherbangs x musical note, which is an inside joke from our D&D campaign that'll only make sense to like 4 people watching this, therefore I shouldn't include it, but I will because it's funny. And now I should probably throw in a joke of some kind to keep people watching through this portion of the video, otherwise they'll just skip over, unless of course I turn creating this bit into the bit itself. Wait. Alright, that was getting a little bit too meta, so let's instead distract ourselves with some stallion on stallion action. Another ship I saw a couple of times was Sorin x Thunderlane, which I can absolutely get behind. Literally. Anyways, since both of them are in the Wonderbolts, it makes sense that they'd need to release some stress every now and then. Sorry, I meant have their friendship blossom slowly over time into something more. To be honest, I'm sure there are fanfics of that out there already. If not, I'll be very disappointed. I do want to give an honorable mention to some of the funny responses that I got, like someone shipping Rainbow Dash with American presidents, and there was someone who shipped that one stallion who was
strangely obsessed with tubs of jelly.
With his jelly. I don't really want to comment on the first one to avoid any implications it might have, and the second one is honestly just fair. Though maybe I should have excluded it because it does sound an awful lot like it would fall under the canon relationships category we excluded at the beginning. Oh well, too late now. With only 3 more ships left for this video, I want to quickly remind everyone to keep an eye out on my community tab, as I often host polls or ask questions there that have to do with future videos or my style of content. Or if you're subscribed, they should show up on your homepage and subscription feed. Anyways, enough self-promotion. The next one is another ship I've never really thought about. Fortunately, it seems like not many of you have either, as this one was only mentioned once. Despite that, I can absolutely get behind it. It's Dr. Hooves and Twilight Sparkle. Both of them are extreme nerds, and because Twilight mostly studies magic, and Dr. Hooves seems to focus more on technology and science, the two of them could complement each other extremely well. I can only imagine what kind of ungodly contraptions the two of them would cook up if they combined their brain power. Twilight wouldn't even have to become an alicorn to take over the rule of Equestria at that point. And to end on a low note, the last two ships are ones I just don't really get. The first one being Cheese Sandwich and Mudbriar, which got mentioned once in the comments. I don't see how these two could ever work out. They are polar opposites of each other in basically everything about them, except that they're both annoying and probably pretty severely on the spectrum. Cheese Sandwich is all about partying and excitement, going crazy to the point that even Pinkie Pie couldn't keep up at first. Even when he was sad or depressed, like we see in the season 9 episode, The Last Laugh, he needed excitement and motivation from Pinkie to cheer himself up again. That is something Mudbriar just couldn't provide in a million years. And the same, however, goes the other way around. Mudbriar would very much not be in the mood for a surprise party or some ADHD goofball shenanigans whenever he needs anything. Plus, I suspect Cheese might not be able to get a good read on Mudbriar, so he'd likely always think that Mudbriar's expressionless face means he's not enjoying his company, which, to be fair, would likely be the case. This one ship I just do not get. If you have any other explanations I might not have thought about, please leave a comment. And then for the last one that came by 3 times while looking at all of your replies, and one that I honestly find almost borderline cruel. It's Princess Celestia and Derpy. I actually asked a friend of mine to explain this one to me, who said that the combination of a 1,000+ year ruler who had likely grown tired of her responsibilities at some point would really appreciate the little ray of innocent sunshine that is Derpy to come into her life. That there would be someone so silly and joyous that it makes her happy again. I can sort of see where they're coming from, but also not really at the same time. Because of how infinitely smarter and wiser Celestia is, and the fact that she will likely way outlive Derpy, I can't help but feel like their relationship would be the equivalent of a pet and its owner, where Derpy would just be a means to an end to make Celestia feel happy for a while, after which Celestia would just continue her life as if nothing ever happened. Unlike the Cheese Sandwich and Mudbriar ship, I can sort of see the appeal and fanfic potential here, but also for this one I would love to hear if there's anything I'm just not getting. That was all the ships I had prepared for this video. If you'd love to see a second part of this going through all the others, please let me know. And for now, thanks to everyone for watching, except for those who ended up in Twitter jail.